So today I figured I'd actually teach you something kind of useful. Just be careful when you go to test, because you can harm your multimeter or the fuses. We'll be looking at how to do a parasitic draw. This can be either one of the easiest things you'll ever do to a car or one of the more complex things you'll ever do. This is something I made whenever we left the dealership. And all that it consists of is 2 battery cables, a kill switch, and 2 side post adapters, I guess you could call them. I'll put the links in the description. It's not perfect, but if you're in a pinch, it'll save you. When you go to actually test for a battery draw, you're going to want to pull the key out of the kill switch. So I can just put it into perspective of how much a milliamp is. 1 amp is 1,000 milliamp. When you have a 0.123 amp draw, that is a 123 milliamp draw. So whenever you're looking and reading, if it is 0.030 and up, I typically classify anything above that to be a parasitic draw. Some people say 0.05 or 50 milliamps, but I just use this as a generic number. So if you have a, let's see, 0.100 amp draw, that's 100 milliamps, milliamp hours. So it could be drawing 100 milliamps every hour. And if you had a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, you would divide that by 100, and you would get 10. It would kill the battery in 10 hours. Or at least that's the way that I was explained how battery draws work. So what you're going to want to do is just remove the negative battery cable from the battery and connect it to one end. Then once you have it connected to the kill switch, you'll want to connect the other side of the cable of the kill switch to the battery. Now with the leads, you'll want them ran to the amperage and the comm, at least on this multimeter. But it should tell you on the top how they're linked. Then you take one and clip it. Then you take another, but you clip it on the other side. So whenever you're ready, you can flip the kill switch, no draw. Here's another setup that I have. I got it off Amazon. It was Probably the original price whenever I bought it then, but it's on sale right now. If you're not in a hurry or don't need one at this exact moment, it's definitely worth getting. And it works the same way as that kill switch does. And I believe that you don't even have to have the kill switch on. You can just connect to the negative battery cable and the negative battery post. But as usual, you put it with the amps and the COM. Now you see that it's reading 0. That's because the kill switch is still on, and there was a switch on the actual leads that I got from Amazon that was on. And if that still fails, you may have a multimeter that can't read a parasitic draw, or your fuse might be blown inside of your multimeter. What I'm showing you now is the door jar opening. This can and will pull amperage, so it's always best to go ahead and open the door beforehand and close the switch itself. So whenever you're wanting to deactivate the door jar switch, you're going to want to take a screwdriver, or if you can, your finger, and press down here to engage the door, making it seem like it's still latched into the vehicle latch. But there are some vehicles that you can't do that because they have a door jar switch by itself right here. You can press this down and tape it if you need to, or just find a way to close it off if you need to get inside to a fuse block. One of the first things to eliminate before going any further is internal lights, glove box lights, anything else internal. That could just be staying on because of a door jar, or the glove box is open, or just something random. When you're looking at this, you'll want to make sure that everything has powered down. Now that the voltage has dropped out, we can either see that it's a intermittent parasitic draw, or that it doesn't have one. Here I'm testing the passive entry on this vehicle because Hondas do have an issue with their door handles. And what happens there is there's a button on the door handle that locks the vehicle, and sometimes that button can get stuck. So to test that, I went back and forth between the two front door handles and just kept pressing the button multiple times. And that doesn't seem to be the current issue, or at least it's not an issue now. I'm doing this part for a reference. If you do have a parasitic draw, let's say like this, it has a 0.19 amp draw. What you're going to want to start doing is pull fuses, but pull them individually to see which one is pulling amperage specifically. And also, it could take a couple minutes for the system to power down. I guess I was really struggling to put that fuse back in. Here you can see I'm pulling one of the fuses out of the fuse block and it drops drastically. Like I said, this can be easy or complicated. It can take you 10 minutes or 10 hours. And the numbers are about to go down. So you can see it went from 200 milliamps to 37. So here we go with the same fuse. I let the multimeter sit until it dropped completely. I'm gonna put the fuse back in. That's not your actual reading because everything just powered back on. I let the vehicle sit for a little bit and then I pulled the fuse again just to double check and make sure. Amperage drops may not happen immediately, so what you may have to do is let it sit for a while. And boom, it just drops out. The next step you're going to want to do is find a wiring schematic of what's on that leg of the fuse. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe. If you have an idea for another video, write it down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching.